Hello everyone. The title of this presentation is For the Love of a Library. In September 2010, my girlfriend and I, we've been going out for 6 years. Unfortunately, we broke up. And while this story starts at a sad place, this is how I felt at the beginning. So this is the beginning of a journey that took many, many months. And I actually set foot in this library just a week ago. We have the OISE library card that allows us to get in and to check out books now. And it was extremely confusing. There were multiple elevator shafts, and there was a security guard there, but when I asked them some basic questions, they didn't know where the books were, perhaps because it was too confusing for themselves as well. And I was thinking, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be better libraries out there. And as far as my mental state, my emotional state, there's got to be a way to heal. And I wanted to heal myself on a journey. Started thinking back to the beginning where I met my girlfriend in Vancouver. And we spent hours in here. Basically, it was the Vancouver Public Library in downtown Vancouver. It's built based on the Roman Colosseum. It's a structure full of glass. There's a courtyard, glass-covered courtyard inside. It's this area. And this area is the main central stacks. Goes up 7 floors high. The inside is full of glass. It's very bright. Wonderful collection of ethnic books, comic books, art, music, anything you could imagine that could come from a library was in here. This represented one of the most beautiful points in my life, but you know, I'm now ready to move on. I need to find myself. I need to find what's the next thing, next person. I came upon this. I took a bus that took me 20 hours to get to Washington, D.C., the Library of Congress.
Wow.
And it was the largest library on planet Earth. I looked up a couple of stats. They said they have 147 million total items in storage. So much information that they cannot display any of it because it is a holding library for the U.S. government. To get in, there's a visitor area, and the visitor area is very grand, but I didn't put any pictures of that there because for me that's not what I wanted out of it. I wanted to get into the back room, into the real place where everything takes place. So I went and got myself a library card. It took a passport check, 2 or 3 interviews with security guards, and they give you like a background check on the spot, and they type you your name at the computer. It's the same one that the immigration people have at the border, basically. And there were security guards everywhere, but they had some of the best librarians I've ever met. You go up to one of them, they were very, very calm, very friendly. They will give you the numbers of professors, of other librarians on the spot, and whatever topic you needed, you just tell them and they will find the books and bring it to you. I felt very warm, very comforted, but at the same time it felt a little distant, a little cold. Maybe that's not what I'm looking for when I'm trying to look for some kind of relationship with my library. Next one is the New York Public Library. I titled this one, The One That Got Away. The reason for that is that I didn't actually visit this one. This is the main public library reading room. It's kind of rectangular, and it's featured in a lot of movies, including the Facebook movie that recently happened. But I didn't go to that one. I went to one that was, I walked in, and it was a round reading room, where you walk in, and there were really high ceilings, and everybody was sitting in a round. And I didn't take down the number, I didn't ask for the name of the branch. I lost it. I was clueless.
Oh.
I should have written it down.
Oh my.
But now, to find that library again, I would have to go to New York and visit every single public library branch. And that's what I would do for my love of the library. What do other people do for their love of libraries? This is a picture from the Biblioteca Alexandrina. This is in Egypt, on a port city on the Mediterranean coast. And in January, they had a revolution. The people rose up to fight against, an oppressive government. And these people stood in front of their beloved library to channel the rioters and the demonstrators and the police and whoever might want to loot and destroy away from their beloved library. Because it meant so much to them that they would stand in front of it, make a wall, and protect for life, liberty, and knowledge. And the significance about this library is that it's the spiritual successor to the Alexandria Library that burnt down in antiquity. So this is the Egyptian answer to what they had from before. One day I wish to visit that library. To bring it closer to home, the Slave Lake Library, before that town burned down, which is a tragic event, I never even knew where Slave Lake was, let alone that, well, they had a library. So what? Lots of towns have libraries. This library burned down because of a forest fire, and because of it, an entire community has gathered around it to try to rebuild this wonderful resource for this small community. Peter Brantley, he's one of the leaders of the Internet Archive Project, which is archive.org, and their goal is to archive the entire internet. And basically put a shout out, everybody help the Slave Lake Library. I have personal friends who are in Edmonton who are actually heading up there to help in the construction phase. And I hope that in giving this presentation, that once you've heard these wonderful stories about people willing to lay down their lives to donate money to this cause, that you would also take an afternoon and visit your library. You might find that it might not be the one right next to your house. It might be. Or it might be the one in New York. It might be in Italy. You might just fall in love with it. And on a personal note, while I haven't found my library yet, and my relationship life is still, on the rocks, I think that I can move past everything. I've grown to heal and to move past it, but what remains is this passion and love of libraries that I hope I carried on to you guys in this presentation.
Wow.
Thanks.
Wow.